Hi, I'm Dr. Stacy Reuille-Dupont, and today we are going to talk about the somatic experience of grief. Grief is a challenging emotion for most of us. When we experience grief, it's because we've lost something or someone we deeply care about. Grief can be a mix of other difficult emotions like anger and remorse, making it even harder to confront the sadness alone. While everyone experiences grief differently, there are some commonalities that help us understand how it manifests in our lives. But first, remember that all emotional experiences are also physical experiences in the body. We perceive everything in our lives as a physical event, even thoughts and emotions. Before we can understand an emotion or thought, we first experience it physically. This is how we learn about the world, through physical sensations. Understanding that our experiences begin physically can make it easier to deal with whatever we are going through. So let's use grief as an example to illustrate this. Grief is often described in stages based on Elizabeth Kubler-Ross's 1969 book on death and dying. Although she later clarified that the stages weren't meant to be rigid, they have persisted because many of us do relate to them in our own grief experiences. We might start with disbelief and doubt, questioning how and why the loss happened. This can lead to bargaining, where we think in terms of if only, or trade one experience for another. Eventually, anger can set in, and we may look for someone to blame or a way to channel our emotions. This anger can spill over onto others or be directed at broader issues as we struggle with our lack of control. As we move through these stages, we often feel overwhelming sadness, and the world around us might seem dull, and we may experience low motivation and lethargy, normal sensations that accompany sadness. Finally, we reach acceptance, where we begin to consider how our lives will look after the loss and start moving forward. Even if we don't like the changes, we learn to live with them. Throughout these stages, our physical experiences of grief can vary greatly. Initially, we might struggle to breathe with racing hearts and spinning minds as we process the news. Our bodies might be hyper alert, ready to act, and then over time shift to this heavy, lethargic state. We might lose interest in eating or struggle to sleep, unable to think clearly. Crying is a natural way for our body to metabolize and release these emotions, and sometimes we might even find ourselves laughing a bit out of control. Common physical responses to grief include heartache, stomach ache, reflecting on the deep connection between our emotional and physical experiences. The key to navigating grief is to remember that whatever you experience is normal. The stages of grief are not linear, and everyone moves through them in their own way. It is common to feel okay one moment and not okay the next. Numbness and disconnection can also be part of this shifting experience. Cultural learning and past experiences will influence how you express and experience grief. However it shows up for you is normal. Well-meaning friends and family might urge you to move on or get over it. But grief is something we carry with us for a lifetime. It evolves and changes, but part remains with us. We move forward, changed by our experience on our own timelines. But if you experience prolonged grief disorder, which is a complicated grief disorder, and it disrupts our ability to return to life after loss, make sure you're seeking help and support. Grief is always processed in community, even though it has a private aspect. Community rituals, events, and groups focused on grief can be incredibly helpful, and many cultures come together to share food and celebrate the person or whatever it was that was lost. In conclusion, grief is hard for all of us. We must move through it, experience it somatically and mentally and emotionally. Finding community can make this journey more bearable. If you are struggling with grief and looking for support, you might look to us at Studio B. Our integrative psychology clinic combines psychology treatment alongside movement and meals for mental health. We look to movement and nutrition as a way to non-medically treat our mental health struggles. If psychology and physiology is something that you're interested in, please subscribe to the channel and like the video. Let us know in the comments what you'd like to see more of. We love to help demystify and destigmatize how what's going on in our mind is also going on in our body, and how what happens in our body, say digestive issues or heart problems or joint pain, is also part of our psychology. When we treat ourselves in a holistic way, we get better faster and we enjoy the quality of our life more. If you're ready to make some changes in your life, please reach out to us today. The professionals at Studio B are ready to help you. If you'd like some more information about me, you can check me out at stacyRD.com, and you can find us at studiob.life. Have a great day and be well.